Here we go. This is it. This is episode 288. Very happy to be here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis today. It is a Thursday. My name is Justin Severson. This is No Laugh Track Podcast. We're recording live from the stage. My guest was supposed to be here back in January, and we've rescheduled David Crowe.
I got sick.
You got sick?
Yeah, it was the kind of thing where I was maybe going to get better, but if it was feeling I couldn't get out of bed, that kind of down for the count sick. And I thought, I might be able to make it to Minneapolis and take a bunch of Tylenol and whatnot, and then limp through the first day or so and then get better. Or I could get a replacement for the first few days and then maybe get better. And I thought, that's ridiculous. Acme doesn't want comics who can barely push out a show. They want people who are here to do their best. So I just gave Lewis the call and said, you know what, do you want to just replace me? That would be way better. And I'll just go home and lay down. And he said, yeah. And then he surprised me by giving me another date.
Yeah. Oh, I assumed that would happen, but...
Well, you never know. You never know when you cancel a week of...
You don't want to count.
Sometimes they never talk to you again. But so then what I thought is, if I'm not coming back till end of March, I might be able to get this set I've been working on up and running and record it.
Yeah.
So I decided to pull the trigger on that, and that's why these guys are here hanging lights around us.
No, there was no plan on recording back in January.
In January.
There wasn't, huh?
No, I was not ready to do it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and we're at the end of March here, so yeah, that didn't take too long.
Well, I wish I had longer, but...
Oh, okay.
But I don't, and so I just thought I'd go for it and see what happens.
Right on. I showed up today to meet you here for the recording, and things are looking... People will see when they come to your shows this weekend. It's looking different. The club looks different.
It just looks more showy.
It
looks more like a little theater than a comedy club.
It's very impressive what you've already done. And obviously, you're not quite done because the guys are still working here, but the lights on it's great.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Oh, have you ever seen it when it's done up like this?
Nah. Who was the one you came in? Was it Bent Washburn, right? He recorded one here?
Yeah,
that looks really good.
We hired a lighting director specifically who is really good at that kind of stuff, and he came through. He actually flew out 2 weeks in advance and looked around and came up with a master plan. So we're borrowing some of his ideas.
Oh, okay.
And then, which he gave us, and then they've got some of their own because Black Iris has filmed here before.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see how it comes. It always looks sharp.
It's amazing how just a couple, or not more than a couple, but a few different lights can just completely change the appearance.
Yeah, it's all about. Well, anybody who's been to the Deja Vu understands the difference between how the whole thing works when the show's on, and then when they flick on the drugstore lighting. You realize, there's too much information now.
You didn't even have to finish that sentence, and I was laughing. That is such a great analogy.
Yeah, lighting is quite remarkable, and it's the one thing that people most often ignore when they're putting on a show. And the classic situation is, I can't tell you how many multi-million-dollar corporate events I've been to in Las Vegas, of all places, where they have some big company renting out their giant conference center, and the boss is up there behind a podium, and he's delivering some kind of... And you can't see him.
Ridiculous.
You can't see it because they just have dinner lights that they turn either off or on.
Sure. And
they don't have any kind of spotlight. It's crazy. But lighting is everything. It's painting the atmosphere and creating a mood.
What have you been up to? Let's see. Last time you did the podcast was with Kermit, right?
Right. We were here for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
And so that was about a year and some ago.
Yeah, a year and some ago.
I like to think I make it back once every year, once every 18 months. If I keep writing new material, it's once a year. If I come back and don't have any new jokes, it becomes 2 years.
Did you see the old Acme advertisement that was going around here about a week ago? Maybe they've shown you in the days since you've been here this week. I haven't
seen it. No.
You have not seen it. What year was it from?
93?
No. It's one of the early years. Now I don't remember off the top of my head. You were doing February 2nd to February 6th.
Oh. With who?
Your feature act was Greg Fiddler.
Okay, I know Greg.
Do you remember that name?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that name. David, is a cross between, do you remember this? This write-up? Bob Newhart, Dick Cavett, and Steve Martin.
There you go.
Utilizing the button-down delivery of Newhart, the cerebral side of Cavett, and a bit of stream of unconsciousness from Martin, David's appeal cuts across all ages, backgrounds, and geographic locations. There's virtually no subject he cannot tackle with his own bizarre, picturesque, and hilarious point of view.
Wow.
Wow, huh?
I should still keep using that. That's really good. Maybe update the Dick Cavett reference.
I was just going to bring that up.
He's part Chris Rock, part Dave Chappelle, part Kunta Kinte.
You could still use the Steve Martin.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he's touring. He'll be in Minneapolis this summer at some point.
Yeah.
Or I think he's doing a casino with Martin Short. But
nowadays you have to tell people, he's like Steve Martin without a banjo. Well, what else does he do with it? He only plays banjo.
Oh, yeah, good point. You have no banjo experience, David Crowe?
I bought one years ago.
Oh, really?
About 1990. Thought I was going to learn to play banjo. Found myself in Savannah, Georgia. Saw one hanging in the window. There we go. That's a pearl inlaid Vega. On sale. I'm going to buy that puppy. And it sat in my closet. I did try to learn some Earl Scruggs finger rolls for a while. And it just sat in my closet for decades.
Okay.
Aging like a fine beer.
Sure.
And
beer.
Aging like a fine, warm, open beer. And then last summer, have a relative that lives in Denmark who's lives in a small island, doesn't really have a lot of extra cash. Son is autistic, and so that takes a lot more time.
Sure.
As we all know.
Yeah.
So he spends a lot of time being at home, and he has hobbies, and he's a brilliant musician. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to give him my banjo because he would never buy one for himself.
Sure.
Not in a million years.
Yeah.
So I brought it to him last summer and surprised him. Just gave him. Actually, no. I had it sent to Denmark with another relative, and they wrapped it up and gave it to him for Christmas as
Very
a surprise
cool.
from me.
Yeah.
And he had no. It's sort of out of place. He's not a close relative, the kind that I would do that for. So that's what was kind of fun about it. It's the last thing he expected.
Yeah. Why is Dave giving me a gift?
And he still didn't understand. Wait, this doesn't make sense. Who gave this? Why would he? Is he just shipping it so it'll be here when he visits? And
is he on the way as well?
And now he feels obligated to learn to play it, which I realize you never want to buy somebody a hobby.
Right?
Right? Because then you're
only established hobbies.
Yes. You're basically saying, here, I know you have 3,000 hours to burn in the next couple of years. Do it. Burn it doing this.
Let me know when you can play a tune.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Wow, who knew that we'd get that story out of you when
I know.
Wow.
Do I play a banjo?
Huh. Guitar? How about, did you do guitar before that?
I think the fingertip brain connection in me is pretty haggard. It's not. I've played guitar since the 6th grade, and I still suck. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I was watching Dave Grohl's Sound City specialty, where he bought the Neve soundboard from the Sound City studio in L.A. that had been that ratty old recording studio where so many incredible records in the 60s and 70s and even 80s had been recorded.
Okay.
Legendary records, like Rumors from Fleetwood Mac. These things are won Grammy winning, and it was this ratty old, funny, out-of-the-way sound studio in Van Nuys.
Wow.
Okay. And the board there was just one of those magical situations where everything seemed to work. The acoustics of the room worked. The way the room wasn't decorated, it was just kind of something that, after 60 years of an old truck stop being there, it just kind of starts to take on its own character that you couldn't possibly plan.
Of course.
With the Farrah Fawcett poster that's got an elk hat rack over it. You know, that kind of thing. This thing kind of layers of the decades. Well, that's what this...
where's the beef bumper sticker on the
exactly.
corner?
Where did they get that? You know, things you've completely forgotten about are featured.
Yeah.
And it was one of those cases, and the soundboard is one of the best lines of soundboards that you can get. But apparently that one, because it's all handmade, there's just something magical about it. So, because of the way the recording industry has gone, this Sound City was finally closing. So Dave Grohl, that's where Nirvana recorded Nevermind.
Okay.
Same place. And so he thought, well, I got to get that soundboard. What's going to happen to that thing? And he found out they had no plans for it. They were just going to trash it. So he bought it and brought it and put it in his house, in his home studio. And so while watching the movie, he explains how he learned to play guitar.
Okay.
Because at the end of the movie, Paul McCartney comes to his house and they record a song on this soundboard. And Dave's going, this is a dream come true, because the reason how I learned to play guitar is I was given a guitar in about the 5th grade, and I bought that Beatles Complete Songbook, which is a big black book that has the music to every song they ever recorded.
Okay.
And I had the blue album, the Beatles from 67 to 70, where they're looking over it's a compilation record where they're looking over a balcony, and they all have shaggy faces and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, so I just sat there with that album, with that songbook, with my guitar, and learned to play every song on that album and every song in that book, and that's how I learned to play guitar. And look at him now.
Yeah.
That's how I learned to play guitar.
The same
I had
book?
the exact
No
same
way!
book, the exact same album, the exact same. I got a guitar in the 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah.
But I suck at guitar. So that tells me it's not the method.
Nope. Clearly.
It's the talent. I just didn't have that fingertip brain connection to learn to play stringed instruments. So I can strum like a mother, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what's, would this be a coincidence or ironic, is that Dave Grohl, they say, is funny for a musician.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I am shitty guitar player for a comic, I guess. I don't know what the reverse would be.
I don't know.
And our names are Dave.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
What? Seattle connection? What?
Yeah. His mom's American, my mom's not. The coincidences.
Ridiculous. How you've been here since Monday, you told me, and so today's Thursday, so a couple nights.
I came in Monday. I wanted to come to open mic because I think before you record a comedy special, you want to feel really good about your talent. So you go to open mic and watch.
You did open mic.
The shitstorm.
Okay.
And it makes you feel better about yourself. I joke, I kid. No, I just wanted to come in early so I would be here. And I did run the set at the end of open mic.
You did?
Knowing it would be punishing because it's Monday night. They've already seen 2 hours of comedy, and then I go up and do an hour.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, the whole hour?
The whole thing.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how often that happens.
It's like Rocky hitting the meat, right?
Right.
He slugged dead cow for a while. Suddenly, when you get into the real game, it doesn't seem as hard.
That's true. That's true. That's why you were out jogging before this, right?
That's right. So open mic, that's me slugging dead comedy cow. That's what...
So tonight, I guess, would be the last kind of rehearsal then for the real
It
deal?
is,
You're
but
not recording tonight?
The thing
Thursday?
is, Black Iris is here doing the whole shoot, and so they had sort of planned to get most of the stuff up by tonight so we could do some tests, a little bit of tests.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're doing. And we'll probably, if things work out, we might even run a few cameras tonight if things are all hooked up.
Now, you've done...
Just because Thursdays can be, not always, but can be legendary.
Oh, absolutely. I love coming here Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So because we're so close, and the cameras, we were able to... Some of them arrived, so we thought, well, if we can do it, we'll do it.
Yeah, why not? I was going to ask, now, you've done other recordings in the past. You have CDs out and other specials.
Yes.
Do you normally take, like this weekend, will you take stuff from 4 or 5 different shows, or will you try and get a whole...
No, yeah.
This is the best one.
You cherry pick.
Cherry pick?
Yeah.
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 That seems to be the norm.
It's like if you were going to do the 2018 Justin body part calendar, you would pick the best few parts. You have nice ears. Obviously, that'd be a January, February right up front. Right? You have pretty good teeth. Right? You're not going to show the skin on your elbow.
Oh God, no.
Right.
The Severson elbow is not a thing.
Right.
No,
the arm scrotum.
Yeah. No. No, that goes back to my grandfather. No, nobody wants to see that.
I actually made in high school. I've had boundary issues. The show I'm doing is called Boundaries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about finding your boundaries, which was apparently a big deal for me.
Okay.
And I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, I had a girlfriend that just adored her. And so I thought it'd be funny for, I think it might have been Christmas or Valentine's Day or something. I gave her the Dave Crowe, I think it was Valentine's Day. I gave her the Dave Crowe body part calendar.
Oh my.
But not the normal.
Sure. Not
the salacious body parts.
2018 dick pic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it was, you could call the Dave Crowe body part calendar sort of pre-dick pic. But there wasn't anything like that. It was just, it was a joke. It was the nose, of course, because I got a big nose. And I think I did an elbow or an ear, just whatever, toes. And I thought it was funny all the way through, but I'm thinking back, even just as I tell you, that if anybody gave me that, I might, because not only do you see the pictures, you have to also realize how much effort it went into making this whole thing.
Right.
I took pictures myself, developed them myself. I mean, there's like a lot of hours. Focusing on my body parts.
Mm-hmm. And back then, you had to go pick them up after they were developed.
And I developed them myself.
You did? What, black and white?
Yeah.
Oh, good thinking. Nice. The school had a dark room or something?
High school did, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, what you working on?
I never asked her if she was always so nice, and she'd say, "Oh, that's so sweet of you," which is kind of neutral response for women. Right? You don't really know how they feel. That's so sweet of you, but it could mean, that's a little weird, but I know you well enough. I guess I still trust you.
Yeah. No, what you needed to, or maybe not needed to hear, but the truth was what she told her friends right after you gave it to her. Yeah. That was the truth.
Yeah.
Was it locker sized, or was it like
I think it was small.
Small?
Like your iPad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what she did with that. That's actually, she can't possibly still have it. I wish she'd given it back to me.
Given it to a thrift store and someone bought it. It's in someone's random house that doesn't know you right now.
I know. In college, I fancied a girl in college I saw on campus, and so somebody I knew her, and I thought, oh, this will be fun. Rather than just walk up to her and introduce myself, I thought, I'll leave a note on her porch. So but I couldn't just do that. So I bought a pomelo, which is a giant grapefruit.
Oh, yeah.
And I pinned the note to the pomelo and left that on her porch. Okay. You don't follow girls home. You know, you want to give them a pomelo in a public place, that's fine. But you don't let them know that you know where they live.
Yeah, right?
That'll freak them out. I know that now.
This is good. My my daughters are 11 and 9 right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they get into the dating age, which is going to be a long time from now, and of course it won't be. But if that happens, I'm tracking that kid down, the pomelo kid.
Yeah,
I got questions.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go pomelo shopping together. Yeah. Misguided youth. That's what this show is kind of about, actually. Some of these poor decisions.
Exposing your decision-making?
Being a little naive, but also being somewhat a little bit taken advantage of, but also not being aware enough to know when to.
Do you think that
draw a boundary?
Is also described as gullible? Or no?
A little bit. Maybe just too trusting. See, being too trusting, the other side of that is also just being kind of cocksure and confident, right? Well, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm cool. Yeah. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get in, whoa, hey, what? So, I think there are two sides of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I remember in high school, they vote, most likely to succeed or best dressed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was awarded, me and a gal that I graduated with, dizziest / most gullible. I don't think dizzy fit me. I think the most gullible is how I got that.
Right.
Yeah. And I look back like, oh, boy, that's not something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Like, he's so nice. He'll just follow you around and believe anything you tell him. Well, that's not a good thing, is it? Mm-hmm. I don't know. And then I got to college and realized what that meant. And then everything somebody told me, I was like, no, you're wrong. Doing my own thing. That probably isn't true either, actually. Are you... Did you watch Roseanne this week, Dave? Did you record it back home?
No.
Do you have any interest?
I read on CNN's website that it was a good show.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming out, but I have not followed any of it. Why? Is it all the buzz now?
I'm not crazy about when they bring shows back, and I don't know if I was ever a huge fan of the original. But reading a story today that our president, did you know she's a Trump supporter on the show?
Okay.
Roseanne is a Trump supporter.
That kind of makes sense.
And in real life, apparently, which I didn't know.
Well, that makes sense. Her character would have been that demographic, right?
Yeah. But she's the only one in the family in these new episodes.
Oh, John Goodman isn't in there?
No, she's the one in the family that supports Trump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The Laurie Metcalf that plays her sister in the show says that she was going to vote for Hillary and then got talked out of it in the last minute and wasted her vote on Jill Stein, which was actually pretty funny. But the thing that I'm even bringing this up is I'm so amazed that our president is so into himself that he got a hold of Roseanne today or yesterday, I believe, because the ratings came in and they were like 18.1 million people watched this show, and he found out that she's a supporter of his. He called to congratulate her on the success of the first week. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. This is happening in our world.
The reality TV president, right? I guess he just keeps watching
it's just
himself he watches TV to see when he's going to be mentioned.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
I've got a few Trump jokes I've used on stage from time to time. Here's one. Want to hear one?
Sure.
Just a Trump joke, because they're only relevant for a week, and then he does something else crazy.
Exactly.
So it was how Trump doesn't get the credit for the things he's actually accomplished, right? People don't like to think of him as actually having accomplished things, but he's done some remarkable things. For example, a poll came out a couple months ago, and apparently this poll is done every year, and since World War II, the most trusted country in the world. And since World War II, the United States has won that poll every year. It's a global poll. This year we got third, behind number 2, China, and number 1, Germany. In less than a year, Trump was able to get Germany over that Hitler hump they've been struggling with for half a century. No one else could even attempt that, right? No. But suddenly, boom, Germany feels like the close friend and confidant that everyone needs. Germany can handle it. They'll do a good job.
Yeah. Do you know anything about the housing market in Germany?
I don't get that one.
Leave the country. The people who want to leave the country and to get away from Trump. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. I see. Right.
The one like when Baldwin or somebody comes out, I'm moving to Canada.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to Germany. Baseball started today, David Crowe. Is that on your radar?
Not at all.
Not at all.
In fact, I have one thought when I see baseball posters and things.
Uh-oh.
Why do people watch that?
Is that right?
Yes. It's what? There's that thing that people do all from now until October. I don't get it. Yeah.
Sometimes November.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Never have. I think, to me, baseball, you could save a lot of money by not paying any of the players, not even having players. Just have a bear and a goat on the field. The goat's eating grass, and the bear will just kind of sleep most of the time. Eventually, at some point, the bear will stand up, run over, and eat the goat. And that's like baseball, right? Just hours and hours of goat eating grass, and then, hey, excitement. And eventually, sometimes the bear won't eat the goat. and that's a no-hitter. You obviously like baseball.
Yeah, I like baseball.
Yeah.
Not as much as I used to, but I still do. Oh, yeah, certainly. And an opening day for me is sort of a, it's a rite of passage in the, it's something to get excited about. Now, tomorrow, day 2, that's just another day.
So it's opening day today, here in town?
No, the Twins are in Baltimore playing actually as we speak. No, they start next week in town here. But actually, here's a stat for you that you won't give a shit about because you're not a baseball fan. They tried to have every team start the season today for the first, every team playing in the same day, day 1, for the first time since 1968.
Okay.
Didn't happen though because some games were postponed due to weather. Bad weather.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. You can have snow outs here, right?
Oh yeah.
Even in May, probably.
Absolutely. Even a NASCAR race got snowed out last weekend in Virginia. So
okay.
You never know. Talking about
it's so funny. If it was Kermit here, you guys would talk baseball for the next 2 hours, and
we've done that.
I go.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah, no.
That's fine.
Got nothing.
No, you don't have to have anything. That's fine.
I'm not saying I spend my spare time in a more valuable way or more productive way. I just baseball's not it.
What are you spending your free time on besides family and comedy?
I guess that's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and so almost my free time is just spent being with her.
Yeah.
That's the thing about a kid. It's not what you do, it's time with them.
For sure.
For little kids.
Yeah.
Time. You can't replace the time. There's no such thing as quality time in limited doses can make up for just time.
That's very true.
I think.
Yeah.
I probably just insulted a lot of parents. But I feel lucky. I mean, obviously I travel and I'm gone, but when I'm home, I don't have to be gone 9 to 5 or 8 to 6. I get to be home.
Yeah.
So, and I like to play. I still like to play. So we always do good stuff. I do some cruise ships, and she's able to come on the cruise ships with me, which has just been fantastic. She's been on 14 cruises in 3 years.
I'm jealous of an 8-year-old.
I know. And it's just the best daddy-daughter time. Frankly, sometimes it's good not to have to consult the mothership before you do something.
Sure.
Like have a second bowl of pasta.
Yeah.
Or wake up at noon.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right?
Oh, that has got to be the life for an 8-year-old. Oh,
it's nice.
Wow.
Ships are a really nice place for kids because everything's self-contained and taken care of. And we spend most of our time in the pool, and then we'll hit a beach when we go to port. And I've had to gear back my sense of of levels of appropriate adventure. I realize the kids don't care about big, expensive adventures. They don't even remember them, really. They just want some sand and some water, a little bit of shade, and then they all, you know this, you have 2 young kids. I don't know when it stops, but a young girl will get into the pretend zone, and when you see them in that pretend zone, it'll last an hour or so. You just kind of sit back and watch. You don't interfere. And she's making a fairy fort or something.
Yeah.
I did just buy a new camera this Christmas because we were going to South Africa, and I had a decent camera, but I always had video cameras and so on, and then I had a still. I thought, I'm going to just get myself the camera for the next 10 years. So I got this pro-grade camera with these nice lenses, and I took it to South Africa to take photos, and I felt like when I saw the photos, I thought, oh, this is why good photographers take good photos. They have a nice camera.
So it does make big difference, huh?
Oh, my God. It looked like National Geographic was following my vacation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was remarkable.
Are you sharing those pictures on social media?
I don't share my family pictures on social media. I don't just feel weird about that.
Yeah.
I do comedy stuff. But
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I email pictures to relatives.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that, there's not a rule, certainly, that you need to let everybody know all of your business.
I feel that way.
Yeah.
True.
I definitely agree with that.
It affects my comedy bookings, but...
You think so?
Well, you get evaluated based on your followers and all that stuff.
From clubs that don't get it. Huh?
Probably true.
Probably.
Yeah.
Definitely true.
Yeah.
Definitely true. That's no doubt. What kind of where are the cruises? Which ones do you prefer? The ports? What are the best ports?
I'd have to say, just as far as kid-friendly ports, the Caribbean's pretty great. The Caribbean is why you go on vacation. Just some nice water, some sun.
Yeah.
You don't have to drive very far once you're off the ship to go to somewhere you want to go. Mexico is nice, but the ports of call in Mexico tend to be a little bit more to navigate.
Okay.
They're bigger. There's more traffic. There's bigger cities, right? And there's more hustling going on, and they have lots of fly-in tourists as well. So they're just a little busier. You pull into a little port in the Caribbean. Yes, there are some that are super busy, but
has your daughter ever gone, why does that policeman have a giant gun? They don't have those back
Mexico,
home.
you mean?
Yeah, because I've seen those.
Yeah.
Where it's like looks like a semi-automatic or whatever. Like, oh.
So that's
okay.
it. We did one trip down to Guatemala where it was San Diego to Guatemala in 5 or 6 days, and then we got off in Guatemala, but it was Friday morning. No reason to come rushing home on Friday morning. So we stayed in Guatemala for 3 nights. So Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Yeah, I came back Monday at a surf house right on the coast. $70 a day.
Nice.
We had our own little thatched roof surf house on the coast. Included food.
What?
And a pool. Surfboards if you want them. Yeah, it was awesome.
That is so cool.
So I'm pretty good about seeing the perks of the job.
Good.
And taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
Kermit, on the other hand, call out my buddy,
yeah,
has never taken his kids on a cruise with him.
He hates his children. That's what you're
Yeah,
trying to say.
I know. He says, well, it's hard with 2 of them because it's not really fair to take one. So.
Yeah.
That's true. But I don't know. I just feel like do it while I can. I've been fired from enough jobs to know that jobs don't last forever.
Right.
So while you're the Sunday buffet chef at Maxie's at the top of the Four Seasons, take home some roast beef.
Right. Don't thumb your nose at the roast beef.
That's right.
Take it home and share it.
That's right, especially if it's going to be tossed. I'm not promoting stealing roast beef, children.
What was your last full-time job before a full-time in comedy?
Wow. Okay, I talk about it during this show.
Oh, you do?
That we're doing this week. But my first and only full-time job after college was shore excursion manager for Princess Cruises.
Oh.
I did it for 2 years. And then I started doing stand-up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A shore ex is the guy who arranges the stuff to do ashore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did that from 23 to 25. Went around the Caribbean, around the Mediterranean, around the British Isles, all around the Baltic, into Moscow, back across to Canada, Montreal to New York. Took some time off, then did it again, then quit.
Is that an entry level? Like you go in with no experience?
Not supposed to be, but I'd been a hiking guide in the summer.
Oh, okay.
And did some tourism in the summer when I was in college.
Oh, okay.
So
you told me about that
the lead in. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I've basically spent all my time falling in love with English dancers.
What?
You know, they're just adorable. And they're fit, and they got that lovely accent.
English dancers.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you?
They didn't notice me. They couldn't see me through the bushes, but I really spent a lot of time.
I have one more question about cruising. I went on one time. I went on one, and a few days into it, I started to get that sickness where you start, like, oh,
seasickness.
Yeah, like I can't stop swaying. I'm not swaying, but I feel like I'm swaying. That goes away? Do you get used to that? Do you still get affected?
I think a lot of it's diet related for me. If I drink too much coffee or any coffee when it's rough, I'm more likely to be queasy.
Oh, okay.
So you can monitor what you take in, and it'll help.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people go on cruises and they have cocktails and stuff.
I may have had a few.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the ocean starts moving. And...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That will happen. I have a... where is it here? I'm going to look this up here. I have a... where did I put that? Oh, as a parent, I love these stories because they're so ridiculous. I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
A Kentucky mom was arrested yesterday after forcing her 14-year-old daughter to get drunk to teach her a lesson about alcohol. This woman was charged. She decided to punish the teen. She had caught her 14-year-old drinking, so she decided to punish her by forcing her to drink alcohol to the point of extreme intoxication to get her sick. What's the better way to teach a lesson about alcohol than forcing it down a 14-year-old?
I think you got to blame Tony Robbins for that one.
What do you mean?
Because you know Tony Robbins,
yeah, of course.
Educator and speaker. He I bought his very first series of tapes or CDs back in the early 90s when I was starting my stand-up career. I thought maybe this will help me be able to get on track.
Interesting.
And one of the stories he tells, and he's trying to illustrate the power of association. And his dad used to come home after work and have a 6-pack of beer every day. And so then once Tony, he's a kid, I don't know how old he was, but he said, "Mom, I want to have a beer like Dad."
Yeah. And
his mom said, "Okay, but if you want to have a beer like Dad, you have to have the whole 6-pack." Okay, I can do that. I can be like Dad. And so he had a first sip, and he didn't really like the taste. She goes, "No, you have to finish the 6-pack." "Okay, I'm going to be like Dad." And he finished the first beer and started to feel bad. And he said he was about halfway through the second beer and threw up all over the place. And he said to this day, he can't stand the smell of beer, and he doesn't drink alcohol.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked?
So it worked.
Yeah.
The power of association. So... So I think maybe that mom had taken the Tony Robbins personal power program and thought, well, if it's good enough for Tony Robbins, he's done well for himself. I'll do this to my daughter. I think arresting somebody for that is absurd. But I don't know what she was doing to get her daughter drunk. I mean, if you're using hard liquor, that could be dangerous.
Oh, I mean, I didn't get to the part of the story. They posted a video of this on social media.
Oh.
Police ended up seeing it.
Yeah.
Where she was, like, there were two other adults with, and they were, like, holding the woman, the 14-year-old up in her chair because she was about to, like, well, let's give her one more. She was about to fall on the floor, and they were holding her up to feed more.
So she wasn't drinking it herself.
No.
Yeah, Elliot Max, who used to be a comedian here, and he's retired now, but he's from Seattle and very wise man, and I'm very good friends with his son now, Joe Larson.
Of course, I know Joe.
Elliot has said many things to me over the years, and probably more than anybody else, I remember these kernels of wisdom from him.
Okay.
He's just full of them. One of them was, he goes, "America's an incredible country. You can literally do whatever you want to do in America so long as you're willing to remain anonymous about it. You can sit in your basement, do whatever you want to do, whatever thing you're into, whatever drug, whatever practice, whatever kind of, just as long as you don't have to tell anybody. As soon as you put it out there, as soon as you are making a stand, like should be legal, or this is what I do, you're forcing other people to now to have to respond to it or deal with it. In the case of the police, you don't put it on social media. It's something that happened in a house and no one knows about it. It's the social media angle that's the real mistake, or what's at issue, because the police you can't expect them to see something like that and then not do anything.
Right.
It's their job to try to protect abused kids, and some might argue that's a form of abuse, so they got to do something.
Yeah.
Now, Tony Robbins' mom, he was the one drinking the beer, right? And it was beer.
Yeah.
And he was, I don't know how old he was, but young enough so that just one beer was going to get the effect.
Sure.
Right?
What was is there a story behind your first beer?
Yeah, I never really drank anything until I got out of college. I mean, a couple of things here and there during college, but I don't.
Grandpa didn't pull you aside. Let's share one.
Yeah,
Let's share a pop.
My relatives were English and Canadian, and So the Canadians, you can have beer when you're 12 if you want. I mean, beer was just something that no one really wanted because it didn't taste very good. But my cousins would have beer from time to time. Mm-hmm. My cousin Greg used to have way too much beer. He was the one cousin, Canadian, who had way too much beer. Okay. Yeah, party guy, got in trouble. Guess what he is now?
A police officer.
Yes, a police officer.
For real?
Yeah.
No way.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I think he's always said he kind of liked the cat and mouse, but he got tired of being the mouse.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's RCMP, actually. So.
Mountie, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Mounted Police. Oh, that's great.
And in England, I mean, you can bring your kids to the pub. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. They're not so puritanical about everything with all these hard barriers between. Which is fine. I mean, I don't often say this. In fact, it might be the first time. I probably drink too much. I have a tolerance now that's pretty evolved.
Okay.
Working in the comedy club world for so long.
Sure.
I don't party. I never do shot. I'm not one of these do shots guys. Woohoo! Mm-mm. Or make me a tangled wiener or whatever crazy drink names. Yeah. I'm just a beer, wine, and scotch guy, but I like it. I can easily have a couple of beers or a couple of glasses of wine every evening of the week.
Yeah, and
completely function perfectly.
Completely.
I did. We went out with these guys on Monday.
Okay.
I came down and we met, and then I think I had 4 drinks that night, and I woke up Tuesday morning going, all right, I am recording a comedy special this week.
Oh, slow down.
And I do not need to be doing this.
Yeah.
I should just have water and tea and...
Like you're having now.
Yeah.
You've finished it off.
I went to the Free House because my girlfriend flew in last night, and she was hungry, so we went to the Free House just a couple blocks away.
Yeah, I've been there.
And they had on tap cask-conditioned hazelnut brown ale.
That's a good thing?
It's pretty unique.
Okay.
And it happens to be my very favorite.
Oh, okay.
It's a sort of a British flat ale.
Flat ale?
Yeah, it's not really fizzy like the lagers. It's in its room temperature.
They serve at room temperature?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's meant to be.
Okay.
It's from a pump.
Uh-huh.
It's creamy. It's very good. So I had 2.
I'm thinking right now, that doesn't sound bad.
It's very different. Yeah. It's not fizzy and bright, and it doesn't really have a bitter taste. It's nice.
Okay.
And they said, the bartender goes, so I said, what's in the hand pump? He goes, sorry, it's... And I looked up. No way! Apparently, I was the first guy to be excited about it.
Was he like, where are you from?
Yeah, they had an IPA in there before, and apparently that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very popular. That's interesting. That's very interesting. You know what we didn't get to about your the stuff you're recording this week? Where are people going to see it? If they don't get a ticket to come see you this week at Acme Recording, where is it going to end up? Do you have any idea yet?
No.
There's so many options now.
It was a show I wanted to get out there, or it is a show I wanted to get out there, and I figured if I was going to spend any money recording it, you might as well spend enough to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it'll just be a promo reel to try to get some company to redo it at a theater and spend tons of money, but the chances of that happening are tiny.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't want to have that not happen, and then have a show or a demo that I'd made that wasn't broadcastable.
Sure.
So what we're really going for is it good enough for broadcast? Because if it's not, you really lower your options.
Sure.
And the good enough for broadcast is you just got to get the right cameras and get someone who can make the place look pretty, and then just do a good show. I mean, you can broadcast bad shows. That's been done.
I've seen some.
So I don't know where it's going to be. We'll find out. But the first thing is try to get it. The show is, I'm really happy with some of it, and some of it's heavy lifting. But
okay,
it's not a usual stand-up show. It's a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's got more ups and downs.
Does your female friend give you any critiques?
Yeah, we've worked on stuff together, and I bounce stuff off her. She's not a stand-up, so
So when you
So I
disagree
don't
with the
look-
critique, you go, "You're wrong.
yeah.
You're not a stand-up."
There's a difference between saying, well, I don't really get that part, or that maybe do this, and saying, here's how you should say that.
Right.
That's different. You don't want. I'm not asking for that. I'm not asking for a writer.
Yeah.
So, in fact, we just had a discussion today about maybe a premise fix or something, and she thought it was really like she thought we had found the answer, and then I sat down and I was thinking about it and trying to write beats, and I thought, no, you know what? No, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in my head. I can't. There's nothing here.
Interesting.
So, there's a difference in having a discussion and then having stand-up.
Sure.
It's they don't always. One doesn't always lead to the other.
True. Very true. Very true. Next week here at Acme is Crash and Burn.
Yeah, this show started at Crash and Burn.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
When did you do
2
it?
years ago.
2 years ago. I was trying to remember. Okay.
What it was is for Crash and Burn, you're supposed to do 20 minutes that has never been done on stage before. So
Right.
I ended up throughout the week doing 40 minutes, 20 of just stand-up bits strung together, and then another 20 of it was a story, a 20-minute story. And because I'd had this idea in my head about doing this series of stories, and the working title was 3 Guys and 1 Old Lady.
Okay.
And they're my coming-of-age tales. And it worked well enough at Crash and Burn, and then I went home and tried it on stage in a non-Crash and Burn scenario, and it just didn't work at all.
Oh.
So I kind of put it to bed and then brought it back up. But this fall I thought, maybe I should try lifting that again and see if I can make it work. And it was kind of doing okay, and then when I got sick and had to bump my Acme week back a couple of months, that's when I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to go back. I'm going to do this at Acme because it's one of the few places where I think it'll work like it's supposed to.
Interesting.
I've tried doing it the whole hour at a theater among theater people, and they weren't ready for it.
Okay.
They were, So it's unique. I'm here doing it now because of the venue as anything else.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Have you told Slagle that this connection?
I haven't,
Okay.
but I will certainly send him a clip of it when it's maybe by next week. Don't they start Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I know what I'm doing, I can do a multi-camera edit in really quick.
Yeah, sure. Right,
So I've done enough of that.
So clearly, you would say that doing something like Crash and Burn is good for your comedic.
It's like
mind.
anything. It's like taking my daughter on a cruise ship. I used the opportunity and got the most out of the opportunity. It would be very easy to do a Crash and Burn and not advance, not challenge yourself.
Sure.
But I didn't want to just write more jokes because you can kind of do that anywhere. The real thing for Crash and Burn was I wanted to try that 20-minute story.
Yeah, try something completely different.
I actually changed how I went about writing stuff too, if this is for inside comedy fans.
Sure, yeah.
Telling a whole story is a daunting task because if people aren't on board with it, there's no way to get them back. So what I did is I laid out the whole story, the beats basically, the story, what would you call it? The
Chapters?
The timeline of the
Sure.
story or the various steps of the story.
Okay.
And then look to see if there were any parts of the story that could be done as standalone bits.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in this story about this little making a friend situation I had on the cruise boat. We were in the Caribbean, and I didn't know anybody on the ship, so I had to make friends. And so the story is one of the situations I was in trying to do that. Just one of the afternoons trying to make a friend.
Sure.
Getting to know somebody, and And so in that, there's the whole idea of making friends as adults. That's kind of a premise there, right? Just in itself.
Sure.
There was the idea of pirates. That's a premise. There was, what was another one? Buying someone a drink. That's a premise, right? These are all things that you can just do. You ever bought someone a drink? It's kind of hard to know what to buy them because what you buy them actually says something, right? If you buy someone a beer, you're just going, let's hang out and have a beer. If you buy someone a wine, you think it's more, you're like saying, I want to know more about you, right? If you buy someone a shot, it's, I don't want to know anything about you. So that is a standalone premise that you can just do and the next thing go, I have a dog. And
Right.
So what I did is I worked on those standalone premise concepts until I was getting some laughs. And then when I strung them all together in the context of the story, then even if the story wasn't working well, there were these islands of laughs that I could swim to and get people back with me. So that process allowed me to lift long-form stories onto the stage without it being horribly awkward for, and pissing off club owners, boring the audience. Because people have paid to come. The club's got a business it's running. You can't. This isn't your rehearsal space.
Right.
You've got to deliver some semblance of a product. So that allowed me to actually tell a new story without having it just be an abject failure from the beginning. Right. So that process. The reason I'm here tonight is because of going about things that way. Yeah. That doesn't change the story. It just gives you a chance to work on little parts of it, little parts at a time, in the context of a normal stand-up hour.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd throw in a thing about the drinking, or I'd throw in a thing about making friends as adults in my other show.
Okay.
And then once I had something there, I put together this show.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It worked.
I love it. Is there anything else? I'm gonna look at the time. Yeah, let's put a bow on this thing. Anything else we should be mentioning?
I don't think so.
Did you bring any old any of your merch? What do you after the show? Are you gonna slap people on the back?
No, it really doesn't work to stop in the middle of a taping and say, "Hey, I have bumper stickers." But, in fact, I was going to wear. I have a new T-shirt I designed. I was going to wear it for the show, but it just. I don't know if it's going to work. It just looks so lame. So I think I'm going to write this guy in a T-shirt. That's not really me.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it's me now, but it looks, this is such a beautiful venue. It just doesn't work. So I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Fair enough. David, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck this weekend. I'm excited for the audience as well as for you. I think it's going to be great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.